Hey there everyone, thanks for joining me for another one-man review. Today I'll be taking a look at a really nice new book out from Dark Horse. This is called Dawnrunner. It's written by Ram V, someone who I've been seeing more and more stuff by, and I've enjoyed all of it that I've seen so far. A new writer who I think is going to be a voice for a long time to come, important voice. And then the reason I came to this book is the artwork by Evan Cagel. I follow Evan on Instagram for a long time just as an illustrator. I know he does covers for DC and stuff, but I had not seen anything that was like, I think there was a couple Batman issues, but I wasn't going to go run out and buy a random Batman issue just for the art. Super excited to have a whole hardcover of this artist's work. Because of the detail they do, I wasn't even sure that they would bother to do narrative art, but beautiful art, and then a really fun story as well. So super sold on both these creators. Really like this book. Beautifully produced, more mainstream legacy industry production, but very like the best you can get out of it. So this is basically a kaiju type of story. We're following Anita Marr. Anita Marr is like one of the best anti-Tetsa or Iron King pilots that's around, and there's a new I guess it's an anti-Tetsa, not an anti-kaiju, but an anti-Tetsa fighter. You can see it back here in kind of silhouette. That's called the Dawnrunner. So they're bringing like the best pilot in to pilot the new thing. It's a kind of a Attack on Titans like situation, or you're going to like that Guillermo del Toro Pacific Rim. We've got these big structural walls to like keep out these things. We've got the big mechs. They're gonna go fight the Tetsa kaiju type of things. So pretty simple story in terms of that, but a lot more going on to it, and I mean, even just the art alone's worth it. Some, really cool things going on here with like infographics that give you a sense of the world, where people have heads-up displays or maybe kind of like retinal implants or something. A lot of things like that flesh out the world kind of tangentially in the background. It's not always fully parsed out for you, and I like that, if there's a richness to the world. But obviously this is a kaiju versus mech suit book, and it's there so you can have an artist like Evan Cagel just blazing through these awesome fight scenes. So cool. I would really love to see this stuff in black and white too, because there's a lot of tone work done on this, a lot of dot tone that gets a little bit eaten up in the coloring. So I'd really like to see, like, I saw like a European edition of this that they were showing on Instagram that had it looked more like an artist edition attached to it. A really big, beautiful production. So, hey, Dark Horse, I'd re-up, I'd swap out if you publish the European version. One of the things that I have a problem with that's leading me to talk about like wanting to see some more black and white stuff is in books like this with a lot of really dense good details in the line art. I'm always a bit disappointed when the coloring takes over so strongly, especially when it gets pushed to the dark extremes where it starts to bleed into the black ink. You can't differentiate between some of the work done here. I just think that there's more sophisticated ways of dealing with that, especially with a line-intensive art like this. Like if you go look at how old Moebius art is colored with flat colors, it really lets the line work sing a little bit more. So there's some of those kind of digital color things in here, but for the most part, I think the coloring's pretty well handled. Some of it reminds me, a lot of it reminds me of that old Wildstorm comic Brass too. A really clever panel thing here. We have this panel being shown like from the inside of the car and this from the outside. And the Anita Marr character crosses over between the two. Now, technically, you should still see more window, and there'd be a car bar, like the bar of the window blocking in another window there. But by just kind of separating it into two panels where the camera is in and out of the car, it's like one image from both. I'm not sure I've seen similar, but not exactly like that. And I really like that formalism. I think another pretty standard trope of this genre is the brain dive. That's definitely something that's in Pacific Rim, and really funny in that movie. That character Charlie Day plays. So we're going to do a mind dive here. One of the things that I really like about Cagel's art is that it has an old school engraving look to it often at times. So there's a lot here where there may be white ink on top of black, or maybe there's just a big thick black marks here, but it looks like stuff that Francois Schwitten would do in a lot of his work, that type of inking that really brings back the like etching and engraving styles. And that's what initially drew me to the work, and I'm really glad to see that. I was worried that in a comic format where you don't have time to sit and noodle with all of that as much, that stuff would go away, and it does to an extent, but like not as much as I would have thought it would have needed to, for a book to look like this. And yeah, just overall super cool looking book. Like, I mean, look at that. That is such a cool set of images there. The only problem is this is one of those ones that has all this beautiful, like, roiling line work through it, and it's just all got colored over and you can't see it. But the, like, cool, and I think just the colors got so dark that Evan Cagel built in this badass silhouette that's of this, the whole structure here, and then all of the, like line work behind it, and then that silhouette's just lost down here. It pops up there really nice, but such cool designs on these monsters and these suits that he's drawing. And then I really liked this one here too. This will let you see his line work more because they're dealing with like 50% or lighter in terms of value. And I think when you have a line heavy book like this, you really have to take nothing that goes above 50% dark. You just got to learn how to color around it. But some very like classical, you know, angels going up into the sky, Gustave Doré type of composition here. And yes, is using that type of rendering. So I think it's really smart to write a sequence like that where you have these angels going up into the sky for an artist like this. So, you know, the new book just came out. Series probably just wrapped, and now it's coming out as a hardcover. Here's a pretty good look at the Dawnrunner. I didn't give you a look at the main thing. That's the Dawnrunner mech there. Super cool book, beautiful art. Ram V is a really good writer. There's always character and emotion and purpose to a Ram V story beyond just the big mech thing here. So there's definitely thematically more going on in the book than I'm covering because I just want people to go out and read it. In the back, you get some like covers here that were part of, you know, variant covers for the series. Really love this one by Anand Radhakrishnan. I'm fucking up that last name bad, but Anand is an artist that has worked with Ram V and someone else who I obsess over on Instagram. Really different style working in a book than painting, but both amazing, phenomenal painter. You can see that kind of images there. So a good collection that collects everything you'd want, you know, all of the alternative materials, got some of the design work in the back. Some of like the pencil work. I wish we'd got to see some of the black and white inks is the only thing missing. And like I said, if there is an expanded, like oversized deluxe edition with some of that black and white stuff in the back, I would pay more for it because the foreign edition I saw on Instagram looked beautiful. So if you're into this type of action adventure stuff, this is a really great, or you like the kaiju stuff, or you just like intensely detailed art, all of great reasons to go get this book. If you're more in like the comics literature stuff, this is much more legacy mainstream and maybe not your thing, but I'm perfectly happy in comics no matter what part of the industry it is. If it's good writing, good art, and people caring about what they're doing, I love it, and that's what this book is.